Welcome to Mr. Chalk's Revision Tips. In this video, we will look at bacteria, fungi and viruses. So, a pathogen is a microorganism which is disease causing. The four main types are viruses, bacteria, fungi and protists. So fungi can be single-celled organisms. They cause things like athlete's foot. Viruses are technically not living. They need to go and enter a host cell and use the organelles and functions within that host cell in order to go and replicate. And bacteria are single-celled organisms. They're prokaryotic, so they don't have a nucleus, and they can go and cause a range of diseases in a range of ways, either by replicating or producing toxins. So the ways that pathogens can be transmitted. So the first ways are by direct transmission. So this is involving things like inoculation, where there are breaks in the skins, transmitting things via needles, etc. Ingestion, so if you're eating something with microorganisms on, like contaminated food, that could go and cause an infection. And direct contact, so things like kissing or skin-to-skin contact. Then there are indirect transmission routes. So these are things like where pathogens are transmitted in unsanitary conditions, so in the feces and excrement that floats out from animals or humans. It could be in droplet transmission, so this is where pathogens are within small droplets of liquid that is sneezed out. Or it could be by vectors, so these are things like where other animals carry it, fleas, or it can be transmitted in water. So bacteria are prokaryotes. They lack a nuclei or any organisms. They generally have delocalized DNA and round circles of DNA called plasmids. So some of the key features about bacteria is that they have no membrane-bound organelles. They have plasmids. They can move about, so they've got these tail-like structures called flagella, which whip about and enable them to move. And they can have bacterial cell walls, which help protect them from things external. Most importantly, bacteria can be killed by antibiotics. So, two bacterial diseases that are worth knowing about. Salmonella. So Salmonella is what causes food poisoning. Food poisoning causes stomachache, so abdominal cramps, vomiting and diarrhea. The other main one that you need to know about is gonorrhea. So gonorrhea is a sexually transmitted disease which can cause pain during urination and a thick yellow or green discharge from a person's sexual organs. So, one question that you could be asked is that Salmonella is a genus of bacteria that causes food poisoning. Give two ways a person with mild Salmonella can help prevent the spread of this to other people. So, some key things that you need to think about are: what is Salmonella? What does Salmonella cause? How can Salmonella be spread? How can humans reduce the chance of spreading it? So pause the video, have a think about how you would answer that, then go and have a look at the answers. So an answer to this might contain things like washing your hands after using the toilet or being sick, washing your hands before preparing or handling food, not handling or preparing food whilst you're infected. If you are infected, then you can isolate yourselves, and disinfecting surfaces. A second question that you could be asked is that the table below, or to the side in this case, shows a number of people in the UK diagnosed with gonorrhea in different years. Describe the patterns of males and females with gonorrhea from 2005 to 2013. So you might want to think about what is the change in the females, what is the change in the males, which sex, so male or female, has increased the most, and what years saw the biggest changes. So pause the video, have a go or think about how you would answer this, then have a look at the answers. So an answer might contain something like the levels were fairly steady up until 2009. After 2009 there was a rise. Males are higher than females and males are rising faster than females. So viruses are not considered alive because they can't complete all of the life processes. Primarily they need a host cell in order to go and reproduce. Unlike bacteria as well, viruses are not affected by antibiotics. So some key things about viruses that we need to think about are that they cannot carry out all of these life processes, so they don't move necessarily by themselves, they can't respire, they don't need nutrition, they can't reproduce and grow. We say strains of a virus, not a species. Right? They're made of a relatively short length of genetic material which is surrounded by a protein coat. And the life cycle of a virus requires a host cell to take place in. So it starts off with a virus entering the cell, then the viral protein coat is shed. That releases the viral DNA to go and move towards the nucleus. Inside of the nucleus, the cell's own protein manufacturing abilities will start to go and reproduce the proteins that are required to make new viruses, and eventually enough new virus will fill up the cell and the cell will burst and release it. So, two main viral diseases that you need to know about are tobacco mosaic virus and HIV. So tobacco mosaic virus infects plants, they affect the chlorophyll and the chloroplast in the plants, which has a knock-on effect by not enabling the plant to photosynthesize, so it can't produce any glucose that it needs. And HIV stands for human immunodeficiency virus. So this is a sexually transmitted infection, or it can also be transmitted in blood. The virus causes mild flu-like symptoms to start off with, but progressively those symptoms get worse because the virus will go and damage a person's immune system. So other types of infections that wouldn't usually kill a person would therefore go and kill a person who might be HIV positive. So a question about tobacco mosaic virus. So tobacco mosaic virus causes plants to produce less chlorophyll. This causes discoloration. Explain why plants with TMV have stunted growth. So things that you need to think about are why plants need chlorophyll, what colour is chlorophyll, what do the plants make that strengthens cells, what might happen to the cells if there is a lack of cellulose, and what else does the plant use the glucose for it makes during photosynthesis. So pause the video, have a think about how you would answer that, then go and have a look at the answers. So some of the answers might include less photosynthesis will take place because there is less chlorophyll, so therefore less glucose will be made, so less energy will be released for growth. The plant can't respire, so can't make amino acids and protein and cellulose for growth. So therefore it would become stunted. Fungi or pathogenic fungi are mostly intracellular pathogens, meaning that they live inside host species and inside people. So, two fungal diseases that you need to know about are athlete's foot. Athlete's foot is where you get a fungal infection that happens in between people's toes that causes dry, flaky, red skin, which can often cause itchiness. It's transmitted by touching infected skin or surfaces. And one in plants that comes up is talking about rose black spot. So rose black spot is caused by a fungus that infects roses, right? It infects the leaves and causes black spots to appear on them. Eventually it will affect the leaves so they become yellow and fall off. Question to do with fungus is that figure 3 shows a plan of the garden containing rose plants. Plant A has a fungal disease. Which plant in figure 3 is most likely to catch it first? So if you look at the diagram, it shows the wind direction, and that's what you need to consider. So you need to think about how this fungus can be spread, what the wind direction is, and why E wouldn't be affected first. So have a think about it, then go and have a look at the answer. So the answer would be C, because fungal spores are blown in that direction by the wind. Protists are a group of microorganisms that have features that belong to animals, plants and fungi cells. So some of the key features are that most protists are small, so they can only be seen with a microscope. So protists are mostly unicellular, which means they go around as just a single cell. They can either be eukaryotic or prokaryotic. So some features are that eukaryotic cells, so they have a nucleus, they have mitochondria. They all prefer aquatic or moist environments. And the classification of protists is divided in 3 groups: animal-like protists, plant-like protists, and fungi-like protists. The key or the main protist that you need to know about is malaria. So malaria is spread by mosquitoes. So it starts off with an infected mosquito, goes and sucks a person's blood and infects them with the malaria. That malaria moves towards the liver cells where it matures. That then goes and infects red blood cells. Those infected red blood cells will then be sucked up by another mosquito and the whole process would start again. Thanks for watching.